How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 109, Dolidze vs. Hernandez on August 9th, 2025. Timestamps in the comments below. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 12. We start with Cody Brundage versus Eryk McConico Jr. What a start to the card. I'm going to go with Cody Brundage, probably by TKO. Maybe a ground and pound type thing. I don't rate either of these gentlemen, but I think Cody Brundage has been in there with some actual, fellas, and he's beaten some, guys that I think would probably beat Eryk McConico. You know what I mean? And Cody Brundage technically isn't coming off a loss. He's coming off a a draw with Mansur Abdul-Malik. They actually reversed that decision. On the feet, Eryk McConico, from what I've seen, does nothing. He has a good low kick that he throws. That's about it. He doesn't really throw a lot. He's very low output in the fight, especially when you have someone who has power in front of him, and Cody Brundage does have power, even though he is kind of a meme fighter at this point. And also, I think this fight is on 3 days' notice. This fight got made, not 3 days, because 3 days would be fucking today. But, I think this fight got made Monday. It's a really short notice addition to the card. I think Cody Brundage overall has fought better opposition in the UFC, even though Eryk has fought Nursultan Ruziboev. He did basically nothing in that fight. He was just a lamb to the slaughter. Cody Brundage, it seems like he's toughening up a little bit. The Julian Marquez fight, Cody Brundage, who fought Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, would have given up. He would have given up. He would have just laid down and be like, "Oh, it's not the fight." You know what I mean? He would have been like, "No, don't do that." I think Cody Brundage has actually decent wrestling. I don't know if Eryk McConico is any good on the ground. I didn't really watch tape on him, to be honest with you. I watched tape for his fight with Nursultan Ruziboev. I didn't really like what I saw. From what I remember, he's very low output. I rewatched the Ruziboev fight for this, but that's about it. Eryk McConico, he's also old as shit, 35 years old, taking a fight on short notice against a killer like Cody Brundage. I just think Cody Brundage has more tools. I think on the feet, he's actually pretty explosive. And that's what caught Eryk McConico against Nursultan Ruziboev, was the explosivity of Nursultan when he just kind of threw a random right hand out of nowhere that clipped him. I think Cody Brundage can do something similar. I'll go Cody Brundage TKO in the first or second round. We move to Gabriella Fernandes versus Julius Stoliarenko. I'm going to be picking Gabriella Fernandes by first or second round TKO. It is an interesting fight because Gabriella Fernandes, off of her back, is not really that good. But to be fair, it was against fucking, Jasmine Jasudavicius, who is a really good wrestler. Julia Stoliarenko, though, has, I'm going to be so honest with you, the worst striking I've seen. Her striking ability is genuinely awful. It is so terrible. And Gabriella Fernandes is coming off of 2 wins over Carly Judice, who since then has been fucking lighting it up, and then Wong Tong. She knocked out and subbed Wong Tong. I get that she was losing that entire fight, by the way, but she knocked her out. Gabriella Fernandes has some pop. And even though I thought Carly Judice could have won the fight over Gabriella Fernandes, you can't admit, Gabriella was pinging her head back, and Carly Judice has a good chin. Julia Stoliarenko does not. She gets hurt very easily, in my opinion. She's got decent recovery. She can recover quite well, but overall, I think Julia Stoliarenko is shit at fighting. She is not. All she really has is an armbar. That's about it. So if Gabriella Fernandes just stays out of her guard, keeps it standing, Julia's not going to be able to take her down. Gabriella can whip those low kicks, land the combinations, the boxing combinations. She's so much slicker on the feet than Julia Stoliarenko. It's nuts to watch tape on them. Yeah, I think Julia Stoliarenko is terrible though. Like I think that she genuinely is like a terrorist of the sport. So I will be picking Gabriella Fernandes. Just has way better boxing, puts it together better, hooks, pocket boxing. Julia Stoliarenko looks like she's learning how to strike during the fight. Like it looks like when you first play a game and you're learning the controls. Like Julia Stoliarenko, she's learning on the job. It looks like it's terrible. Gabriella Fernandez actually has got some meaty hooks, big meaty hooks. She's got some shit on her. So I'll be picking Gabriella Fernandez by first or second round KO because Julia Stoliarenko, her boxing defense is terrible. She gets hit two times more than she land strikes. Easy pick in my opinion. We move to Uroš Medić versus Gilbert Urbina. I want to pick Gilbert Urbina, not gonna lie. I hate this fight. I'll pick Uroš Medić. Either one of these dudes can win this fight, I'll be honest with you. They're pretty much like the same person. But I think Uroš has just a bit better striking. He's a bit faster on the feet. But Gilbert Urbina's better on the ground than an Uroš Medić. Like, he's actually, like, pretty strong in clinch scenarios and stuff like that. But I think he's pretty open. But so is Uroš, man. So is Uroš. And they're both so chinny. Like, they both have terrible... I think Gilbert has a worse chin, though. I think Uroš, the Punahele Soriano thing, that was based off explosivity. Uroš dropped his hands. I imagine that's something that he worked on, bringing the hands back, make it muscle memory. You know what I mean? I imagine that his coach has got on his ass about that because him having his hands low literally got him killed. Gilbert, I think, is slower, but he can do better work on the... I don't know. I'll pick Uroš. Because the thing is, I can definitely see Gilbert chinning Uroš Medić. I can see something like, or taking him down and submitting him. Because we've seen Uroš get dominated on the ground before, like Jalen Turner got him on the ground and subbed him. Muktabek Orobai. But he almost finished Muktabek Orobai. And Muktabek's he's decently durable. Yeah, I'll pick Uroš. I think he hits really hard and he's really technical on the feet. Gilbert's pretty solid, but I think that, one, I think he's lying about his height, and two, I think it'll be a little bit of, Uroš has got like a little bit of lighter man skill. Like, he used to fight at lightweight. He did decently well there for a little bit, and then he just moved up out of nowhere. Like, he's really, when Uroš Medić is like on, he's on, man. He looks really fucking good. And I Gilbert Urbina's like he's mid. He's pretty mid. But Uroš Medić can be mid sometimes too. I'll pick Uroš Medić. Fuck it. I don't think Gilbert Urbina can maximize on the errors of Uroš Medić. So I'll go Uroš Medić by TKO in the second round. I think Uroš can finish this fight. I think we're going to see a lot of finishes this card. We move to Joselyne Edwards versus Priscila Cachoeira. I'm going to be going with Joselyne Edwards on this one. I think she might be able to finish Priscila really late in the fight. I genuinely believe this is just because Joselyne Edwards is 5 times the MMA fighter that Priscila Cachoeira is. Even though Priscila, she's coming off a really good win over Joselyne Nunes, brutal uppercut knockout. She's got a really nasty uppercut. I think like 3 of her knockouts in the UFC are by an uppercut. Besides that, I think she's taken so much damage in her career, Priscila Cachoeira. You look at the last 2 fights prior to the Joselyne Nunes fight. I think it was Jasmine Jasudavicius and then Miranda Maverick. She got her ass whooped in those fights. And Joselyne Edwards, even though she's not known for her grappling, she can wrestle somewhat. She's also huge for the division. She's a really big lady, probably one of the biggest girls in the UFC, honestly, actually size and stature-wise. And I think Priscila Cachoeira, really sloppy on the feet. Joselyne Edwards, on the other hand, she's decent. She can get caught sometimes. I will concur to that. Eileen Perez is catching you on the feet. What are we doing there? Spinning back fist? Okay. All right. And Priscila Cachoeira, she's older. She's taken so much damage. Like a 36-year-old WMMA fighter who's taken the damage that she has. I can't, in my mind, pick you to beat a Joselyne Edwards, who I actually rate decently highly in the bantamweight division. Chelsea Chandler, she looked really fucking good in that fight. I think Joselyne Edwards is overall just a better striker on the feet. Priscila has more power, but Joselyne's more technical. She has more weapons on the feet. She uses teep kicks a lot, front kicks a lot. She played rugby, bro. Bro, watch any Jocelyn, dude.
Isn't it crazy how she used to play rugby? She used to fucking play rugby, dude. She used to play rugby.
They'll bring it up every time. I guarantee you they bring it up this card.
Joselyne Edwards used to play rugby.
Priscila Cachoeira, she's mid as fuck. Joselyne Edwards is less mid. She's got more weapons on the feet. Front kicks to the body. Front kicks to the face. Overall, strings combinations together better with her boxing. Priscila Cachoeira is just one really big meaty punch, and it takes a dumb fighter to lose to Priscila Cachoeira. Like Joselyne Nunes just kept throwing the same thing over and over again, and Priscila was like, "Here's an uppercut. I'm showing you I'm going to throw an uppercut." And she kept throwing the uppercut, and Joselyne Nunes was like, "That hurts. Let me try it again." And then got fucking her block knocked off. So Priscila hits hard. Joselyne Edwards is better. Joselyne Edwards to win by TKO in the 3rd round, I will go with. We move to Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. I'm going to be going with Elijah Smith by 1st or 2nd round TKO over Toshiomi Kazama. Toshiomi Kazama is genuinely one of the worst athletes on the UFC roster. This card, I don't even know if there's any really close fights. The main event's really close, but this fight, Elijah Smith did have a very close fight with Vince Morales, which I'm not a huge fan of, but Raul Rosas Jr. did exactly the same thing a month later, so I don't really flame him for it. Because Vince Morales at the end of the day is very tricky customer. He's very durable, wicked good on the ground. He's got really good submission ability on the feet. He's, he can string stuff together, but he's just super durable. Toshiomi Kazama literally only has submission ability on the feet. He is a sitting duck to get knocked out. You watch the Garrett Armfield fight. You watch the Rinya Nakamura fight. You even watch his win over Charalampos Gregorio. He was getting absolutely worked on the feet in those fights. Charalampos arguably could have gotten a stoppage win over him, but then Charalampos just gassed the fuck out because he's actually dog shit. Charalampos is worse than Toshiomi Kazama. I can't believe we found someone worse than him in this division. Toshiomi, like I said, off his back, he's good. He's got good submission ability. He's able to reverse positions on the feet. He has really nothing outside of a jab. And even then, the jab is slow and leads to him getting knocked out. Elijah Smith has gone back-to-back wars with Aaron Tao, who, I don't know if you've been keep paying attention to the Road to UFC series. He's just bullying the shit out of Asian men right now, I think. I think he got a 1st-round finish over some Vietnamese dude and was just absolutely blundering his head with ground and pound. Elijah Smith beat him. Aaron Tao is actually a solid, really stout, short, strong guy. And Elijah Smith just did more and actually out-cardioed him. I know Aaron Tao slightly out-cardioed him, but Elijah did more early. I just think Toshiomi Kazama is super open on the feet. Defensively, he's dog shit. Like I said, all he really has in this fight is submission ability. But Elijah Smith was able to survive submissions from, Vince Morales and was able to manage those and, work around those. And Elijah Smith, he's got a lot of money behind him. His dad was in the UFC. So he's got, heritage in MMA. So I will be picking Elijah Smith. I don't think he's going to... I think depending on his next matchup, he might lose. But I think this matchup is a free win. I think it's a step down from Vince Morales, in my opinion. We move to the featured prelim, Julius Walker versus Rafael Cerqueira. I'll pick Julius. Here's the thing, bro. All these matchups are humongous underdog, humongous favorite fights, but literally the fights, honestly... I could see Rafael knocking out Julius Walker. I've seen Julius Walker get dropped by regional scene guys that I don't think are all that good. Or I've seen that happen. But Julius Walker had a fight with Alonzo Menafield was able to weather the storm of that, was able to take all of Alonso's best punches, arguably beat Alonso Menifield. Very close fight. I thought Alonso did just a bit more. Actually, I don't know. I forget what my take. I forgot what happened in the fight, but I thought Julius Walker looked decent for a debut on a week's notice. Rafael Cerqueira, his 2 appearances in the UFC have been utter ass, to say the least. Brutally knocked out in the first round both times. He's a really good kickboxer, but for some reason at the starts of fights, he gets backed down really easily. He gets backed down incredibly easily. I saw on the regional scene, a dude who was like 5'10" was backing him down and like beating his arms up, and then Rafael just was like, all right, time to win. Kush, and then threw like a 3-punch combination, knocked him out unconscious. Julius Walker's got decent pace. He's able to walk people down. That's what he did best against Alonso Menifield, was walk him down, kind of corner him, able to land big shots. The shots that are hurting Rafael Cerqueira are shots that I think Julius Walker can land. They're like really close left hooks where Rafael's hand is just slightly off, and bonk, he gets hurt, and he's like, ugh, and then just like a barrage of punches, which is what Julius Walker does best. Also, Julius Walker has some wrestling in his back pocket. Rafael Cerqueira, primarily a kickboxer type fella. I think this is going to be a win for Julius Walker, maybe a finish in the first round as well. I see a lot of finishes on this card, mostly because the talent is kind of low. So, yeah, I think Rafael Cerqueira is just... He can knock out Julius Walker because Julius Walker is decently open himself, and I've seen him get hurt before. But I think Julius Walker is a better pressure fighter, and he actually pressures really well, and he's, you know, he can fight similarly to how, like, Bukauskas was fighting, how Ibo Aslan was fighting, where, you know, it seems like Rafael Cerqueira against any UFC competition just willingly backs up and is willingly on the back foot, and Julius Walker, that's one of the things he does best, is pressure people. So I think Julius Walker will do what other people have done to Rafael Cerqueira in the UFC, at least. He was undefeated prior to that. Just beat him up in the first round because Rafael Cerqueira kind of quits sometimes, honestly. Not quits. He gets hurt really bad, but he's kind of chinny. So, and he's old. He's 35. You know what I mean? At light heavyweight. I know light heavyweight's not like the, you know, division where like, oh, you can't have success when you're, I mean, Alexa's like 37, but Rafael Cerqueira, he's pretty mid, honestly. So I'll go Julius Walker. We move to the start of the main card. Eryk Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. I was counting syllables in my head. Christian Leroy Duncan should easily beat Eryk Anders. Eryk Anders is old and mid and slow. He can pressure well, I guess, but that's against pretty low-level comp. Like, lower levels of competition, he can somewhat do that. I think Christian Leroy Duncan is just... In the octagon, I've said this about him before, his presence is almost like... Holy shit. This guy, he can do whatever he wants. He's super agile all over the place. But there is like two sides of Christian Leroy Duncan. There's a side where, you know, you get the Claudio Ribeiro performance, the Dennis Tululin performance, where he's just steamrolling these dudes. But then sometimes you can get like an Armin Petrosian performance. The guy just fought, fucking Pulaev, Andre Pulaev, where he kind of just doesn't really do a lot. I think Eryk Anders is so like unbelievably slow on the feet and so like stiff that Christian Leroy Duncan will like be like, oh, I can do whatever I want, and then he'll just do whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I mean? So I think we're in for a treat for Christian Leroy Duncan to just kind of beat the shit out of an older guy. And even then, Christian Leroy Duncan, that win over Andre Pulaev is aging well because Andre Pulaev actually looked decent against Nick Klein in his only two losses. The Armin Petrosian one, not aging all that great. I think we can all be honest with ourselves. Armin Petrosian hasn't had the best run since then. But, you know, RoboCop, shit happens. Also short notice for him. So, no, that was short notice for RoboCop, actually, I think. But it is what it is. Sometimes you lose. He's younger by 8 years, bigger, stronger. I think he's even better on the ground because Christian Leroy Duncan actually does have some decent offensive wrestling of his own. So, and that photo of Eryk Anders is so old, he looks nothing like that now. So I'll go Christian Leroy Duncan by second round finish. I think Eryk Anders is durable enough to outlast the first round. Second round, Christian Leroy Duncan doesn't really slow down all that much. He'll just keep doing the same thing, doing whatever he wants to Eryk Anders, elbowing up close, knee into the body, knee into the head. From at range, exploding with a right hand, throwing spinning wheel kicks, kind of just doing whatever he wants. We move to Miles Johns versus John Matsumoto. I'm picking John Matsumoto to win by decision. I think Miles Johns is... I hate Miles Johns, I'll be honest with you. I think I've said this in a video before. I don't really like him as a fighter because he's... Lucas Tracy unironically puts it really well when he says he's like a homeless version of John Lineker, where he really only has, but like John Lineker even was actually like good, somewhat. Miles Johns really on the feet only has a big ol' overhand, a big ol' uppercut, and like a big ol' right hook, all on the right side, by the way. None of those are on the left side. Those are all right punch things for him. And he's pretty mid at wrestling. Like, he can somewhat pressure well. I just think John Matsumoto is like... He almost beat Rob Font. You know what I mean? Like, I have to take that into account when picking this fight. I thought John Matsumoto arguably could have gotten the win over Rob Font if some judges look at some things differently. You know what I mean? He's got good cardio, and that was on short notice for him as well. He's got good cardio. On the feet, he's not... You won't watch a John Matsumoto fight and be like, oh my god, his striking is so slick. He's got decent striking, it's just he can put a lot out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the most flashy of anything, but he's got really good combinations, and he can throw a lot of volume out there without gassing out. You look at the Brad Katona fight, and he does hit hard somewhat, and he mixes the striking into the takedowns really well, which is something Miles Johns doesn't do. And John Matsumoto on the ground is actually really good. He's got really good submission ability on the feet. He's really durable. He can get hurt sometimes, like Brad Katona hurt him once or twice. Rob Font opened the fight by hurting him with a fake glove touch and hurt him with some other shots after that. But John Matsumoto, he recovers well. He's pretty durable. He's got really good submission ability, really good volume. I think he's just going to win this fight by doing more than Miles Johns and landing more. Miles Johns is pretty low output. Doesn't really do a lot. He'll throw his big punches, but outside of that, it's a lot of, Patricio pitbulling around, just kind of walking around, feinting at range, and then just exploding out of nowhere. And John Matsumoto should be able to capitalize on that by throwing like 5 strikes to Miles' 1. You know what I mean? So, and Miles Johns slows down in fights pretty hard. He's kind of like a muscled up, blockhead. So I'll go John Matsumoto by decision. I think he'll win this fight pretty clearly, 30-27. We move to Andre Fili versus Christian C. Rod Rodriguez. I fucking hate him. I'll pick Christian Rodriguez, though. If he loses this fight, he doesn't make any sense. I think we can all agree on that. His losses so far in the UFC really haven't made sense, like, on their own. Like, let's be honest. Like, his losses in the UFC are pretty weird. Melquizael Costa, I can understand that one. Julian Erosa. What are we doing? What are we doing there, dude? But I can't, not acknowledge his wins. He beat Austin Bashi, who just looked really good. He beat Cameron Simon before it was, cool to do so. He did it when it was cool. You know what I mean? Like, Peyton Talbot and, Malcolm Womaker. Listen, you knocked him out. Christian Rodriguez walked him for 3 rounds. Raul Rosas Jr., he beat him as well. Who was the other undefeated? Yeah, Raul Rosas. You know what I mean? Christian Rodriguez has made a career out of out-cardioing people and just doing more down the stretch. Isaac Dogarian as well. What the fuck? He's able to grapple with, and that's the thing. He usually drops the first round. I don't think this is a fight where he's going to be able to drop the first round. Andre Fili is a striker first, doesn't really grapple all that much. He hits hard. I'll give him that. He does hit hard. He's getting older. His performances are getting a little bit weaker. He's taken some damage. He's been knocked out a couple times. His last performance was dreadful against Melquizael Costa. Got a takedown and then just put his head into a guillotine. To be fair, Christian Rodriguez did the same thing against Julian Erosa. But that's besides the point. Christian Rodriguez, if he can look even just like what he did against Austin Bashi, he should be able to beat Andre Fili, being able to get takedowns on Austin Bashi, kind of taking him down, ragdolling him a little bit, chew-toying him. he should be able to do the same thing to Andre Fili. Andre Fili slows down as the fight goes on. His strikes have a lot of pop early. And Christian Rodriguez on the feet, he's even decent on the feet. Like, he's not, like, I think Andre Fili's a bit of a more slicker striker. Obviously, he's got longer arms, and he's made a career out of, outboxing certain people and getting some cool knockouts. I think Christian Rodriguez on the feet can hold his own. And this isn't a fight that he has to worry about submission ability against Andre Fili. He can actually press the fight to Andre Fili, bring it to him, take a couple shots to lane his own, wear on him in the clinch, throw a couple knees and elbows, try and get the back. I think this should be an easy win for Christian Rodriguez outside of maybe the first round. But even then, I think Christian Rodriguez should win the first round. I'll go Christian Rodriguez by decision, 30-27. Just doing more in the rounds, outpacing them. As the rounds get on, the clinches become longer and longer. Andre Fili becomes stagnant, becomes, willing to stay on his back against the fence, stay on his back on the ground. On the feet, his strikes will become slower. Christian Rodriguez will be able to read them, counter him with his own shots. A right hand over the top, left hook, kind of trip him in the clinch. That's something he did really well against Malcazar Costa, was get trips. But he didn't really jump on him because he was scared of the submission ability. Against Andre Fili, he doesn't have to worry about shit. So I think Christian Rodriguez should get this one in the bag. We move to Iasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. This is the featured fight, excuse me. I'll pick Iasmin, I guess. I don't really care about this fight all that much. Angela could win. She could find her takedowns on Iasmin. She definitely could. But, I don't know. I just think Angela Hill is over the hill. Haha. She's 40 years old. Her performance over Caitlin Souza is kind of not aging all that well. Pierre Rodriguez beat her in more dominant fashion, in my opinion. So, there's that. Iasmin Lucindo does have terrible takedown defense, so this could play out very weirdly for her. I imagine that's something that she worked on heavily, just defending the takedowns. Amanda Lemos is pretty good, though. So, I don't know. Angela Hill, I think she's slower on the feet than usual. She gasses out. She looks more tired as the fight goes on. That's something that'll really play into the scorecards. Iasmin Lucindo, we've seen her go to war a couple times. She hits decently hard. She's able to be in there with the tops of the division at 23 years old. She's going to have a size advantage here. I think she's faster than Angela Hill. That's about it. I don't know. I think she has a bit more tools on the feet as well. I think she's got a good low kick. Angela Hill looks like she's pushing her punches almost in a way. Her hands, she doesn't really fully extend because she's already fully extended almost in a way. I don't know how to explain it. I think Iasmin Lucindo is just going to youth bully her, I guess. Who fucking cares at the end of the day? We move to the co-main event, Steve Erceg versus Ode Osbourne at bantamweight. I'm picking Steve Erceg by first or second round KO. Yeah, Ode's good. He can beat. Unironically, he actually could beat Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg, his chin has been put on watch lists after the Cachoeira France fight, and Ode Osbourne does have power, and he's really fast and explosive. And, he's got really long arms, so people really struggle with him. I think Steve Erceg's a better boxer, and I think he's defensively a bit more sound. Because a lot of Ode Osbourne, him knocking people out, are usually when they come in and then they try to exit. Steve Erceg got knocked out when he was just backing in a straight line. So, Steve Erceg looked decent against Moreno in his last fight. He didn't look great, but he did. I thought it was competitive. I thought it was a pretty competitive fight. I did give 4 rounds to Moreno, though. Steve hits hard. He's got good grappling as well. That's something that could really play into this fight, is the grappling of Steve Erceg, because Ode Osbourne's grappling is not all that great. Let's be honest. He's been reversed. He's been 10-8'd. He's been submitted. Yeah, I think Steve Erceg is just a better athlete than Ode Osbourne. He's younger, has been in there with better guys in a shorter career already. His last 3 fights were Pantoja, Cachoeira France, and Moreno. You know what I mean? It's literally the top fucking 4 of the division. So, yeah, he was supposed to be fighting Alex Perez. I thought that would have been a good fight. I think this fight should be. decently easy. Steve Erceg, he shouldn't have to cut as much weight anymore. It's bantamweight. Ode Osbourne, same thing, but I think overall Steve Erceg will have a strength advantage. I'll actually go by submission. I'll pick him by submission over Ode Osbourne. Because Ode on the feet, he can get caught. Like Tyson Nam brutally chinned him, but I think on the ground he's pretty, shallow. So I'll go Steve Erceg by submission. Rear naked choke, probably. We move to the main event, Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Hernandez. Listen, I don't want to say I'm a connoisseur of some fighters. I'm going to pick Roman Dolidze. I am the Roman Dolidze whisperer, if you will. Throughout my channel's history, I don't think I've gotten a single Roman Dolidze fight incorrect. In my opinion, I don't think I've gotten a single one wrong ever. So, this matchup is extremely interesting. Because, obviously, with Anthony Hernandez, there's always going to be the factor of cardio. Anthony Hernandez has he's a grinder. He's really good at pressuring people, especially on the ground. He's got a really wicked way of just chaining things together, modified power bar guillotines into taking backs, and he rarely loses position. But I will say, Roman Dolidze, unironically, is really good at grappling. He's got insane jiu-jitsu off his back, and he's really good at reversing people who normally, he shouldn't be able to reverse. Jack Hermanson, that fight really comes to mind. Jack Hermanson took him down a couple times. Roman Dolidze actually does have a very low takedown defense percentage, but that's because he's only been taken down 3 times in his career, but he's only defended 2. So he's got a really low, I think it's 33 or something, 33%, so 1/3 of the takedowns he's defending. It's not a beautiful number, I will say that. But he's really wicked at creating scrambles and tying up legs, working his entire body into scrambles and stuff. And on the feet, as much as I hate to say it, I think we have somebody that Roman Dolidze is somewhat better at in the striking department. Anthony Hernandez, I don't really know what it is, because some moments, like Brendan Allen in round 3, he'll lit off a 3-punch combination where I'm like, that was actually decent technique. But then other times, it looks like he's not even a top 10 middleweight at all. It looks like he's like a person off the street that they brought in to fight some dude for no reason. He's very defensively ill. He doesn't have a lot of great defensive fundamentals. He gets hurt by almost everything that lands on him. A low kick will send him spinning around. A left hook to the chin will hurt him. And Roman Dolidze, as much as I love to make fun of this fucking dude, I think that he is going to beat Anthony Hernandez. He might hurt him and finish him. And even if it does get to the ground, which obviously the longer this fight goes on, the more it plays into Anthony Hernandez's game. But I don't think Roman Dolidze is that. He's not like Michel Pereira, all right, where he has a one combination in him. Roman Dolidze actually won the Marvin Vettori fight, in my opinion, based off of rounds 4 and 5. I thought he lost the first and third round, and then won the 4th and 5th, and then the 2nd as well. He won the rounds, the championship rounds in that fight, albeit Marvin Vettori. Anthony Hernandez isn't just going to strike with him at range. He's going to be trying to take him down. But Roman Dolidze is not Robelis de Spain. He's not people the way they talk about Roman Dolidze is how they talk about Khamzat and shit, and it's not really applicable. He does slow down, but he's such a physical specimen that he almost drags people down to his part, to his gas tank as well. That's not going to work with Anthony Hernandez, obviously, because Anthony Hernandez does just have really good cardio. But even in round 3 against Brendan Allen, he's getting hurt. He's wilting almost. With anything that, if he's on his back as well, that's another thing. Anthony Hernandez on his back does not look all that good. In that first round against Brendan Allen, I get it, Brendan Allen's a really stout grappler, really solid. In that fucking first round, dude, when Brendan Allen reversed position, Brendan Allen's reversing position, Roman Dolidze, in my opinion, has better reversals. He's holding Anthony Hernandez down and doing mega damage to Anthony Hernandez. Roman Dolidze hits really hard. That is something that people need to. He does hit really hard, and he's really good at getting reversals and scrambling. And yes, he does slow down, but he still throws. It's not like he does. It's not like he stops throwing. Like, he doesn't just like curl up into a ball. He still throws. He still has the will to go. And I think that this is going to be a fight where I think Anthony Hernandez does well against other top contenders. I think he does well against most of them. I think he could definitely beat Roman Dolidze. Maybe this is another Anthony Hernandez fight that blows up in my face. Because while I am a connoisseur of Roman Dolidze, I am not very good at picking Anthony Hernandez fights. I've gotten one right, I believe, in my entire picking career. Maybe not. Maybe because I've been picking fights since UFC 266. But on YouTube, I've only been doing it since UFC Paris of 2023. But on the channel, I believe I've only gotten one right. Because I picked him to beat Brendan Allen in their rematch. I picked Michel Pereira. I picked Roman Kopylov. Who was the guy he fought before that? Was it Josh Fremd? I think I picked him to beat Josh Fremd, but I don't think that was on the channel. So, I don't know. And that's another, like, he does have performances where he doesn't get the finishes. You know what I mean? And Roman Dolidze, in my opinion, will just do more damage. He has the ability to do more damage than Anthony Hernandez. In the first 3 rounds, especially. Rounds 4 and 5, maybe even round 3-ish. I'm picking Roman Dolidze to finish him, though. Because I think that Roman Dolidze could even win a decision, I'll be honest with you. I don't think his cardio is that bad. It's definitely not great. Like, it's not, like, in the top 5 of the division. But I think that he's not, like... It's not like he's fucking dying in there. I think Roman will finish him in the first 2 rounds. I think we're going to see a fight where people are going to be... Because I'm really high on Anthony Hernandez. I had him as my dark horse for the middleweight division. I think that this genuinely is just a weird matchup that doesn't help him a lot. Because even though Roman is slow, Anthony Hernandez doesn't really have the striking ability and defense to, like, combat him on the feet. He's just... And Anthony Hernandez does rush things. Like, in the first round, his takedown attempts are actually dog shit. Like, they are terrible. Like, he literally just puts his head down and just kind of runs at people. When he starts to, like... It takes about 3 to 3.5 minutes for him to finally, like... I need to just walk him down. I don't know. I think Roman Dolidze is just a weird stylistic matchup nightmare for Anthony Hernandez in the weirdest, goofiest, funniest way. And Roman Dolidze is on a hot streak. He actually is winning a lot recently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm picking Roman Dolidze. UFC thoughts. These are my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC Vegas 109. Dolidze versus Hernandez on August 9th, 2025. My confident picks reside with Elijah Smith, Christian Leroy Duncan, and in the co-main event, Steve Erceg. My pre-card rating is a 5 out of 10. This is a pretty stinky card. I think we can all agree. The main event is very interesting. I'm actually kind of excited for this main event because I really want to see if Fluffy is able to be in there with a higher up in the division, I guess. I know he beat Brendan Allen. That was still kind of a close fight. You know what I mean? That was still kind of close. Dolidze, he's actually doing pretty well recently for some reason. So maybe this is the fight that gets Hernandez in the top 5. Not like in the top 5, but a shot at the top 5, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting fight. There's some other guys on here. Cody Brundage opening up the main card. UFC 300 veteran Cody Brundage. CLD. Steve Erceg. Elijah Smith, my other confident pick. What are some other...
Angela Hill, dude. Everyone loves Angela Hill, man.
I'm genuinely trying to think of other entertaining fights that could be... John Matsumoto is on here. I think John Matsumoto, Miles Johns could actually be pretty fun. That's about it. Julius Walker, I guess. It's a lot of stinky fights. Like, I'm hyping up fights that, like, Angela Hill was a joke. All right. That was a joke. I think there's going to be a lot of finishes, though. I think this card has a high availability of finishes. which will be fun to watch. Maybe they're anticlimactic, though, but yeah. I will see you guys in the next video, or after the fights. Wait. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you guys like to see next. By the way, Charles Oliveira, Rafael Fiziev just got announced. I might make a video on that tomorrow. I will see you guys in the next video. Or after the fights. Jesus. Peace.